Hi there, welcome to Find Your Voice. My name is Joe Cramond and I'm the host of the show. Today's guest is Johnny Baskin. On his LinkedIn profile, it says he helps companies grow their online presence and get more customers online. Hi, Johnny. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. So if you can sort of give us a brief explanation of how you achieve more customer success online for businesses.
Yeah. So there's, many different ways of growing your brand presence online and getting customers online. Our marketing agency mainly focuses on two channels. That's Google search and social media marketing. And we help our clients basically get more visibility both on Google and social media. And that's how we help them to generate more customers online.
That sounds brilliant. Yeah, it's definitely a necessary thing nowadays because it's a noisy place online at the moment, especially with all the sort of AI content that's being pumped out everywhere. I'm noticing more and more of that. So yeah, it's an
Mhm.
interesting transition and time we're going through. So yeah, well, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some sort of quick fire questions just to get to know a little bit more about you. And obviously we can incorporate what you do for work and business and your challenges you've had in life into the answers and stuff. So we shall start with question one when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. So what does it say on your business card?
Yeah, so on my business card, it says that I'm the founder at Nomadic Advertising, um, our digital marketing agency. So, yeah, and just has all of our contact details.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so why on paper should you have never been successful?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people don't know this about me that work with me because I don't really like publicize it and talk about it often. But after I finished high school, I actually never went on to a secondary education. Like I didn't feel like it was the right path for me. I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't see that leading me into entrepreneurship. So a lot of the education that I have around marketing has been self-taught or has been learned by working with other agencies, by working at different companies, by working with other professionals in the field and kind of sharing our knowledge. So, and I think that actually works better in the digital marketing space because if you're doing what everybody else is doing and kind of trying to follow some sort of like standard procedures for marketing your business, it's probably not going to work out so well because marketing is a big challenge.
No, definitely, you're right. I mean, a lot of the official education, I mean, because marketing is changing so rapidly, to be able to even universities necessarily keep up with some of the latest trends is very difficult, you know. So it's sometimes, as you say, you've got to get in there and get stuck in and learn by the failures and find out what other people are doing who are actually current and relevant as well and stuff. So yeah, no, I totally agree. Education and the school side of things is not always the most important thing with this sort of stuff. So if we asked 10 of your schoolmates about you back then, how would they have described you?
Yeah, I think they would have described me as ambitious and as maybe a little bit like quiet. I was never like the most loud person or the most extroverted person. So I think ambitious, quiet, and always like eager to learn and do new things.
So were you the guy when everyone was having their sort of high school parties? Were you on the computer sort of learning and beavering away, level designing and things like that and playing online games and stuff? Or
Yeah, I definitely spent a lot of time on the computer, and that's kind of like what led me into specifically digital marketing. I think that if I was not somebody that was like more tech savvy and more tech inclined, I probably would be more focused on sales instead of digital marketing. So yeah, really like that led me down that path, and then that's also what allowed me to gain like the knowledge that I have like around SEO. So like I said, I didn't go to like post secondary education. But I had learned a ton of knowledge about search engine optimization, how it works, and like all of this kind of information that you really, especially at the time when I was doing it, like no school was even teaching SEO, like nobody was even talking about it in a formal education setting. So I think having that technology kind of background and spending so much time on the computer in my youth is what allowed me to have my career today.
perfect. Good to know. So when it comes to technology, then what's making you nervous right now?
Yeah, well, you mentioned it yourself in the beginning of this call. All of the AI tech that's coming out right now, it's probably like one of the most disruptive times in the search industry in like the past 10 years. It's definitely high up there on that. Not only because It's changing the way that search engines might surface results and surface answers for users, but it's also changing the way that people are creating content for their websites. And content is a huge part of SEO and your branding online in general. So I think that that's what makes me nervous, but it also makes me excited.
Well, it's an interesting one because the more I think Google are now picking up on more AI content, aren't they, within blogs and within a lot of websites now. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how people overcome that. I know it can be paraphrased and all that sort of thing, but there's going to be algorithms that pick it up, definitely, for sure. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so for a $10,000 bet, then what can you confidently do better than Chat GPT? I should need to renote that.
Well,
TP.
you know, at the end of the day, ChatGPT doesn't actually do much for you. You have to be the one to give the prompt. You have to know
Mm,
what kind of a prompt to give it. So, like, let's say I'm trying to create an article that I want to rank on Google and I want to put that content on my website. Like, I cannot just take what ChatGPT spits out because ChatGPT is not going to actually optimize the content. It's not going to put the keywords in the right places. It doesn't know where to use an H1 tag, where to use an H2 tag, right? And at the end of the day, like ChatGPT is only going to be as good as the person that's actually putting in the prompt. So you have to actually like know what you're doing and have a little bit of expertise to do that. And then also like ChatGPT is like a liar. It's constantly in a very confident manner in my tests, giving me statements that are not always true. And even Google suffered from this in their own like launch when they were talking about their new AI software, and they were showing the results there. I don't know if you heard about this, but
mm.
basically one of the outputs was false, and people debunked it online, and then Google stock tanked. So yeah, I think that basically like ChatGPT is only as good as the person doing the prompt.
The prompt engineering, as they call it. Yeah, that's interesting
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so going back to the sort of like background that you're in, if your 20-year-old self is watching the show, what would you advise them?
Yeah, so one of the biggest struggles that I had with my business when I first started it is I was like super focused on creating the best service for our clients and super focused on keeping my knowledge up to date on digital marketing and all of this kind of stuff. But what I had forgot was the sales aspect. And without
Mm,
sales, you don't really have a business. You just kind of have like an idea for a business, right? Without revenue, you're not really a real business, right? So if I could go back in time, I would advise my 20-year-old self to spend a little more time on the sales side, understand that better, because that would have saved me probably like a few years of work.
So what did you struggle with the sales side? Was it the anxiety and nerves, or being able to close the deal or push for the sale? What was it that held you back then?
Yeah, so my agency was bootstrapped, right? So it's not like I had a huge marketing budget so I could run Google ads and I could run Facebook ads. And I didn't have like a huge marketing budget where I could write SEO content and, generate inbound leads in that way. So a lot of my marketing knowledge, I realized that I couldn't use it to the full extent because I didn't have a marketing budget, right? So knowing how to actually like prospect and do outreach and be kind of like do like a more aggressive kind of sales cycle, and then also knowing how to talk to potential clients of ours. Like when I first started, I would tell everybody, "Hey, do you guys want SEO? Do you want to rank better on Google?" And nobody would listen to me. But when I changed my messaging and I started talking to business owners and saying, "Hey, are you looking to grow your business? Are you able to take on more customers?" That's
Yeah.
when I actually started to get a response. So understanding like people's needs and how to phrase things in the right way
The language
to
they
kind of
understand. Yeah.
lead the conversation to where you want it to go is super important, and it took me a long time to learn that.
No, I think we all make mistakes. I come from a marketing background as well, and you kind of talk on a tech term, and you don't realize you're doing it. And a lot of these people just, in layman's terms, as they say, it's like they need to be told and they need to understand it from their perspective, because a lot of people don't know what SEO even is still. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy, but okay. So when was the last time you had to leave something behind, and what was it and why?
Yeah, so having a marketing agency, we work with all types of clients, right? And I recently had an experience where we worked with one client and their expectations were just like not aligned with our services. And I had to let them go and basically terminate the relationship because I just saw that the expectations were not aligned, that they were expecting a lot more than like what we could feasibly do for their budget. I've had a lot of experiences like this in the past as well. And when I first started my agency, I would always like try to hold on to these clients and like, do everything to satisfy them and like, slave away. But what I've realized over the past few years is that if you do that, like these clients, they will literally like suck the life out of you. So it's very important to, set the right expectations right from the start and then make sure that both sides are aligned on those expectations. And if you're not, then you have to, terminate that relationship as soon as possible, because otherwise, like I said, it's going to suck the life out of you and it's going to suck the life out of your team. And it's just going to create a work environment that nobody wants to work in.
That's right. Burn out big time. Yeah, I think a lot of us have had that before. Definitely trying to prove ourselves and wear all the hats. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 100%. So when it comes to advice, what do people seek you out for?
Yeah, so mostly people seek me out when they're trying to grow their business. Usually it'll be companies that they've already started to grow a bit. They have some lead generation coming in. A lot of the times it's people that get a lot of business through word of mouth, and they have a lot of personal connections, but they don't want to just rely on these methods that they've been using in the past, and they really want to kind of like grow their brand and grow their online presence and start generating leads online and not just through word of mouth and this kind of stuff. And that's when they'll come to us and we'll kind of put together a marketing strategy for them. We'll put together a proposal, do analysis of their competitors, what the competition is doing in the field. And then from there, come up with a plan that makes sense for them.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So have you got like an estimate time of when you can get achievable results? Do you give them like a 3, 6, 12 month sort of idea of when they're going to hit their goals?
Yeah, so it depends on the marketing service, right? Because we do offer like different services. Like for example, Google Ads, it's like a paid strategy. Once you start running your Google ad campaign, you start showing up at the top of the Google search results. So fairly quickly, you're going to start to see some results from that. Versus SEO is more of a long-term strategy. Typically it'll take like 3 to 6 months to start to see results in the SEO side of things. But what our clients usually see is that those short-term strategies like paid ads can be a little bit pricey versus the organic strategies like SEO will give them a better return on investment, but it's going to take a longer time. So it requires that kind of long-term vision and that long-term commitment. So depending on where your business is, we're going to recommend you the service that makes the most sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they want quick wins, put your money into Google Ads and things like that. Buyer intent traffic. That's really good, useful advice for people if they're watching and they're struggling with their businesses. Definitely. Okay, so who else do you know that would love to be on this show? Have you got anybody else in mind that you think add some value to this?
Yeah, I work with a lot of different entrepreneurs, so I think that definitely there are others that I could, talk to them and recommend them to come onto this show. And yeah, I have like a short list of a few that I think would be good candidates. So I'd be happy to share that with you.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Okay, so this is a bit macabre, but it's the final question. So what 3 words do you want written on your epitaph?
I'm not familiar with this
eulogy.
term.
So your gravestone, the kind of whole.
Oh, okay, I see.
To describe you, and when you're from an outsider's perspective, the 3 words would you say?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say like in 3 words what I would like there, but I hope to be like remembered for not just like building a company for myself, but building a company for like the people that work with me, for our employees, and for creating like a great work-life balance for people and helping them to like find fulfillment in their life. So I think that that's like super important to me. And I'd hope to be remembered for that. I don't know how I'd summarize that in 3 words, but
that's fair enough. That's a good explanation, though. That's been great. Well, Johnny, this has been a really valuable conversation. I think a lot of people are going to take a lot from this. And if they want to get in touch with you, what's your website address so they can reach you out?
Yeah, so the website is nomadic, NOMADIC, advertising.com. And they can also find me on LinkedIn, Johnny Baskin, and reach out to me through there. And yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us. And if you want to build out your thought leadership journey, any of our audience watching, visit us at podcastguesting.pro. And also, we can get you on this show as well to tell your insights and get you on these quick fire questions. So, Johnny, it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. All right. Take care, everyone. See you again
Bye.
soon.